Welcome to Cubic Odyssey, the absolutely adorable Halloween update. With the small LED here, many of the assets have been changed to Halloween-friendly, awesome little assets. So, I wanted to get a little more in-depth about the process that we're going to be using to make a lot of money relatively fast. So, first thing we want to do is, as in previous videos, here are all the ships that I've managed to acquire primarily from scouting for ships, repairing the ships, returning to a base, and selling ships. So you can carry, at this time it looks like multiples up to at least 3 of every ship. I don't know if it's going to be more. Oh, look at that, 4 of every ship. Gotta sell and sort of clear some space here. But the ships are going to sell for a decent chunk of change. A lot of these are not very expensive at all to repair. Matter of fact, I lucked out. I don't know if it's randomized or if it's this system that I'm in. I've gotten 3 Leviathans so far. My first Leviathan was a score in a different, I want to say adjacent to the Breeder Spectre, but I have scored at least 2 other Leviathans in this sector, and I sold one. That's why I was up at 600,000. That was the sale of 1 ship. So just to show you just how powerful that can be, your repair costs, speaking of repair costs, a couple things. We're going to want to only repair ships in dock. We don't want to use any materials to repair our ships unless it's an absolute dire emergency. 2, you're going to want to keep a bunch of spare power cores. I hate how it does this. There's something up with it currently where it'll kick out fuel cells that you've partially used and replace it with a higher grade. And I'm not quite sure why the game's doing that, but that's what it decides to do. We don't want to use any materials. We want to save all materials we can for capturing other ships out in the zones or sectors we're going to be running through. Just making sure, because I did some smelting earlier. I want to get an actually really nice refinery going here. Number 2. There are certain mats that can only be bought from vendors. Microprocessor is one of them. So we glitched out a little there. I don't like that. A logic board's one of them. Circuit board's one of them. Motherboard's one of them. Microprocessor. And I've just assumed going ahead that quantum processor is going to be the same way. So I've just started buying those out anytime I see them. I have a decent stock right now, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy anymore. But I would buy them whenever you can afford them. And we're going to work on getting to making them affordable in this video. So, a couple things to note. These are overflow chests. Unfortunately, this Leviathan fighter has a lot of space in it. It has a lot of room. Ooh, I'm running low on those transistors. But it doesn't have that many cargo tabs. Its full cargo space is 180. A lot of the Titans are going to be much higher than that. I think they have at least 5 or 6 tabs. So that's going to be a definite ship choice issue for some of you. I chose it because it has higher health. But for the time being, I was tired of getting a little sweaty during fighter dogfights or pirate dogfights, and just I didn't want to deal with it. I was tired of running back to base and repairing and wasting mats on repairing a ship. Let me show you my progression, since I covered that in an early short video, but not in this one. My progression was, over here I had the starter scout, and then the first ship that I ran across was the Transstellar. Transstellar has significantly more health, moderate shield. 4 slots mean you can fit 2 chests for overflow. It's got moderate cargo space, and you can do 2 appliances. And that's going to be a crafting table and a smelter. From there, I jumped into a dual striker. I ran through a lot of different systems. Search for ships. Dual Striker was one I was lucky to get. And this, even though I say lucky to get, I believe, with that little graphical glitch with the sea being flung out in space there, lucky to get, I've already sold one of these. So this is my second. And Dual Striker, and significant health bump up, significantly more inventory, cargo space tabs. This is a Titan, I guess it is 6 tabs total. Not quite as maneuverable, not quite as flashy as the Titan. I am going to say the Titan's probably a quote-unquote game ship. But it does have some drawbacks. It's got some definite drawbacks. And it's not quite fair to show you how to pick up ships using a Titan, but I assure you, you can start really early on. As soon as you get an okay scout or an okay interceptor, you will have no problem. Like, for instance, this is a fighter. The Planet Biters are a really nice little ship. Look at that health. Look at that shield. This thing is born and bred for, and man, that graphical glitch they got with the doors is just going wacky up in here. Excalibur's another ship that I picked up later in the game. This one's significantly more materials, ended up being much lower health. Not happy with the health. The damage was low, fire rate's nice and high. It's a quick ship. It is good as an interceptor class or style. It's an actual scout, but it was pretty hard hitting. Red Fury, I haven't played with scouts. I don't like not being tanky, so that's just me. The Red Interceptor, this video is going to be terrible for what ships actually look like because graphical aberrations everywhere. I think it's having trouble rendering these drop-out doors, drop-downs, and rear exit doors. We're rendering them just in the wrong place. Artemis, this is a really quick little ship. Good and tanky. It is an interceptor, so that means it's going to have the faster fire rate, speed, and it's going to have okay damage. 265 is pretty good, so you're going to be able to blast through plenty of pirates with that guy. And then we're back into the Leviathans, which, frankly, I just like a tankier ship. I just like having the hit points, be able to soak up some damage even if my shield gets knocked off. It's like a lot of other casters have referenced, the shields in this game, not that great. Not that great on ships. Now, my shield, by comparison, the player character has significantly more shields and is much tankier shield-wise than the actual ships are, which makes no sense at all, but hey, it is what it be, and it be what it do. So we're going to pilot this ship out. I really need to do some inventory management, but it's the night before Halloween. Just got back from doing a haunt blackout night, acting, scaring people, trying to steal glow sticks. That was a lot of fun, but I'm tired. I just want to kind of mess around a little bit and then turn it in. So, these signals, when you enter a system, let me back up. We're in the Fintan system. In the Fintan system, I have found two Leviathan. I found an Excalibur. I have found one of the other interceptors that I was showing off. Decent stuff in the system. And what I'm doing, I have dug out loud the lasers are compared to every other thing in space battles. A nice atmospheric music, and you have kind of technology noises, and then you have the chonk 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 of those lasers. Just gets pretty loud. I had not found an audio option to edit that, and I would really like one because it really would be nice to lower that down. Where was I? Don't know. Buying transistors. That's something I didn't do and should have done. So, find a sector. I have just done this. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's what I did. I go for a 3.5 to 4, ideally 4 technology level. The pirate level doesn't matter so much anymore. I thought it would matter much more early on. It sort of does, but anything up to 3 was completely manageable. And we're not even worried about the darkness level because we're not even really landing at this point. It's nice to have a doggone space station. That was a temple I just moused over. It's nice to have a space station, but it's not a must. You don't even have to have a space station in the sector that you're grabbing ships in. You can grab some ships, a ship, because it will switch you to that ship as soon as you grab it. You can leave all your materials on that ship. You're not going to be able to keep a stash, a good enough stash to convert any more ships out there, realistically. I would definitely recommend you keep a couple of ship fuel cells you don't mind throwing away on the new ships, just because you will not have good weapons. You may have decent acceleration, but it'll be kind of a pain in the neck. Alright, so this is the... Where are you, buddy? Let's say I freaking love these drop-down ships. Good for keeping hit damage for no reason. And the ship is fully repaired. I wonder if I remove blocks without meaning to, or if we're just being glitchy for Halloween. So, to capture a ship, all you have to do, there are plenty of other videos out there showing you. Run up to it, you interact. It's a radar interceptor. This level of ship, I'm going to say, is a no-brainer to always grab. Oh, okay, that just needs to be repaired. It's a no-brainer to always grab this ship. I'm grabbing as low as purple, no problem, like no real thought required right away. Because I know they're going to resell for a decent amount of money. And reminder, anything that's in your cargo space can be interacted with within boarding range of your vessel. So if you're 40 meters out, you can get any mats in your ship. That is an important thing to remember. You're going to want them, and you're going to use them. Alright, so we've grabbed an interceptor. Now that I said all that about the ship battery, unless we get into combat, we don't even really need to slot a ship battery in the ship. We can just ship. Just pilot it. And you can put one in, get a better idea of what you're going to be working with, or just bring it back to base. It is super convenient, I will say, to have a sector where you have a space station in it, because you can just run back and do laps. You know, look at all these different points of interest I've got out there, where I can just kind of do laps. I can run over to the station real quick, drop the ship I just acquired. That is also a fun little glitch. If you mouse over to the station, it'll just crash you right into the sucker and auto-dock you. So if you want to save a little time, not the prettiest thing in the world, but boy, is it freaking easy. Alright. Where am I? Where was I? There's where I was going. So, 135,000 credits is what we just made for picking up this little ship. And for those materials, that was not expensive either. I mean, that's wild. I will say, when you go out and you're going to start grabbing ships, you've got another one right there. Same ship, different ship. I'm going nuts. I'm going to see how many ships it lets me take before I have to start dumping some. Again, as I said earlier, we want to only repair while we're here. Only repair in the dock. Don't use materials. If you can, if you're in the middle of a mission, or if you're on a planet, you know, you're doing something where it's really inconvenient to get back and not do it just using materials, highly recommend against it though. It's going to chunk right through your materials way faster than you even realize. And it's not going to be it's going to go through your stuff faster than you want, and our goal here is to not be mining all the time. Our goal is to be getting ships, breaking open cargo holds, and using their cargo to pay for additional ships. So I will say a good way to start this is do a bunch of mining. Do a bunch of mining, get a good fat series of stacks of materials that you're going to be using. These are all later game materials. Not all are later game materials, but the gem plates are expensive, very expensive early on, requiring multiple gems. Matter containers, still pretty expensive. Titanium comes pretty easy. Different types of ores. Make sure you always have a good selection of different ores on the ship. I'm enjoying keeping about stacks of 200. That suits me really well. Anything over that, there's 3 and 4 and even 5 you can go to with some of these. And when I say stacks, I mean series of stacks, because unfortunately you cannot stack that high. I'm keeping a decent stock in them because you end up using a lot more of certain materials like gold, titanium, to a lesser degree tin, definitely copper. Those wires, always need copper for wires. I would just keep stacks of common materials, and you'll pick up really quickly as we go through and find ships to capture what materials are going to be things that we use all the time. And like I said earlier, those capacitors are something that you're going to go through a lot of with these orange level ships. You're going to need them all the time, and they cost a good chunk of materials to make. They're not crazy, prohibitively expensive, but they're spending. So at this level, once you bought a couple of ships to resell, you can start just snagging certain materials you know you're going to use all the time. Right over here. And what I was saying about the 500 stacks and things, we can definitely clear out a good chunk of those. Apparently I need to go sell a lot of those suckers because those stacks are getting a little too thick. A series of multiple stacks. Crazy. I don't like it, and it's ridiculous. I never should have done it. Transistors. I'm just going to go ahead and actually bought 100 stack, but I'm going to be real crazy right now and buy the wrong thing, which is really good. We love when we do that. Love filling up cargo space, as you can tell. And that takes a big chunk of your change out, but the difference is you're not using materials, you're not burning through materials. I would set aside part of your play cycle to go out, mine a bunch of materials, and just develop a backlog. Once you have a backlog of a decent amount of materials that you know you're going to use, then you can just continue getting ships in space. You're not going to have to worry about flying back all that often to capture more and more materials on a planet. And I'm rambling because I'm distracting myself. That's how I do. So what I'm trying to do is not leave gaps in the cargo. I left a gap right there. I don't want to leave a gap right there. Here's the reason why. If you leave a gap in cargo space, you are able to fly through those treasure chests that are out floating in space. You can fly right through them, it'll pick them up. You have to be dead on when you pick them up, and you're not always going to be able to cruise back to one of these treasure chests unless there's another in there. It's going to think you're wanting to warp out of the system or something like that. When you are able to fly through one, it'll pick things up. Once it picks things up, it'll automatically dump it into your You don't have to pick up missiles. I recommend it. It's just a good quicker way of dealing with those guys. I'm kind of lazy about space combat. This game, like I said, not really into getting super sweaty unless I have a high-performing ship a little bit later on that I really love flying around in. But for now, let's keep it simple. Another thing to note, it is hard to find stuff out in space. Every time you visit one of these little chicklets of an existing ship that's out there in space, or even existing just treasure chests, may not even be a shipwreck, it's going to turn blue, so you'll know you've visited it. But it's only rarely does the game actually mark the doggone chicklet of what type of ship it is out there floating around in space. So what I've heard other casters recommend, and what I recommend, is if we found a ship here, we're going to hop out. I really do love these bottom drop access to ships. This is a little less convenient because you don't have to easy pop out the side or pop out the top like some of them do. But it's great on the planet. You just want to jump right out of the ship. Halo drop in. If there were a wreck here that you wanted to return to, when you go in to check on the loot, don't take everything. Take only a few items and just leave trash. If you leave trash, it'll keep the chests on the map, and those are far easier to find on your heckin' space map than, and yep, here, alternatively, so you'll mark a spaceship, but it's a pirate. It'll mark a chest better than it will a ship. I've seen sometimes where it'll do that same spaceship, and it'll say specifically what the model is, if it's Artemis, if it's another planet, whatever, what have you. The U-shaped one that everybody's after that I still haven't seen yet. We've got the Leviathan before the planet Bane, but so something I also noticed with those missiles, not even worth getting the earlier variety of missiles. Not worth it. Get the ones that do 6k damage. They hit. Well, you're going to be chucking away at them with the laser. Missile shank off which would be really helpful, is what I'm trying to say. So like I said about the ship tanks, it's just darn easier to deal with big clusters of pirates. No, I don't want to be repairing my ship and wasting materials. I don't want to be jumping back to the station all the time and repairing the ship. Wasting materials is fantastic. So those cash repairs, even though they get up to the price of ranges, it's still going to be a lot cheaper than materials that you're going to have to planet mine or only exist on certain planets, or that you're going to have to mess with in one way or another to get special materials. You'll see those things going right into my cargo hold. Once your cargo hold goes up, those materials will not go into the cargo hold, they'll just stay there as chests. Once your cargo hold is hit again, or grab the pads. Just empty cargo. So, on Space Combat 2, not all the ships are going to drop chests, not all the chests are going to be worth recovering, not all of the lasers that you'll see drawn on the screen are actual lasers. Sometimes it's just the ship waiting to explode and it's still drawing the lasers. There's some silly things about this game, but gosh, I love it so much. This has been awesome. This has been an awesome little game. Especially because this I picked up on Steam sale and it was like $25. So for $25 for a fully fledged universe like this, I mean that's approaching like Hollow Knight prices of value. That's incredible. And it's not a Minecraft knockoff. It is a voxel game of its own right. It is similar in a lot of ways to Minecraft, superior better to play in a lot of ways than Minecraft. So much different levels of mining equipment. So many fun. Just having the vehicles. Awesome improvement. Minecraft is still a very special game in my heart. You know, not everybody is going to be obsessed with voxel games or into Minecraft, but Minecraft really does hold a special place in my heart, and I'm always going to enjoy that game. But I will run out of stuff to do. It can be difficult. You just want to kind of relax and play a game. And here we go. To do an open-ended sandbox game. But this is what I was talking about earlier. There's an interceptor, red interceptor. This is one of the times it actually labeled a ship that I intercepted. It doesn't always do that. The game doesn't always do that. I really am proponent of the cloud. They let us do custom markers that you hit the planet. You just hit a double key, it marks it, or rather, right click, and it marks it with a number of point of interest. But that's out in the future. See if they're going to do anything like that. I think it'd be a great way of finding these darn things again when ships can just plain go missing, and when there's no POI to cruise to, they get lost. And like I was saying about the duplicate ships out here, I mean, this is the second red interceptor, third red interceptor I found out here. So I do not know how random it is, but for my experience out here, fantastic heckin' system. Fantastic heckin' system. And if we want to get back to where, I also love an easier way to zoom in and out on the darn map too. Let's guess brownie. Sounds like an Italian soup to me. Gasparoni. Not digging this stellar map personally. Some that's kind of my setup's a little fidgety. It could be better, but it just kind of a pain in the neck to find what you're looking for. In my experience, I would really love if they had a search feature. Same thing with materials. Gotta have a search feature at some point. I don't know if that's coming. I haven't really looked at the roadmap. This is actually not that far away. I believe the system that I'm in right now is about 5 jumps out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to find just yet how to get down there. So I'm going to run this ship back to the space station. You get on space stations, not every sector has a space station. But they all have warp gates. They've all got a warp gate that you can jump to, from what I've seen so far. And I haven't been playing the game that long. I've sunk about a good 300 hours into it. That's mostly because I just like playing this type of game. I enjoy mining. If you enjoy mining too, you are definitely going to have a good time gathering the mats you need. If you don't enjoy mining, you can definitely get a lot of the materials you need as you pick up from your own ships. That's quite all. A lot of questions too. You get a lot of materials from pirate outposts, particularly pirate outposts, and those will go to a neutral outpost, or to a city. The pirate fortresses. You get a lot of mats from the chests in the pirate fortresses. There will be a lot of them there. In the higher level of the planet that you're able to kind of risk and run around on, higher danger level, higher tech level, you can get much, much superior mats. A lot of the mats that I started out using in this system, I actually got some glowing mats and some stuff that I'd never even seen before, just right out of a chest from the planet in, I believe, no, not in this system, but in adjacent systems. And And that's what happens if you don't aim at the space station to do my cheesy trick of jumping right into the space station. So you can choose your cheese or no cheese, either way. These things on. Dang, those batteries do not last. I know they're green level batteries, but holy snaggy, son. There's no energy. One space battle, one of the batteries in a lot. A lot. So we've got, I mean, this is the third one of these I've gotten out of this sector. And it's a heckin' 1,000 credits for the third one of these guys I've gotten out of the sector. And by the time I hit 3, I'm really not. Asteroid. I don't really care about these, holding on to them. Nice feature there, because you could lose a lot of stuff if you sold a ship. I have been cheesy, so I've been grabbing all the guns off the ship. I've sold them before. I don't know if that warning is new, something changed, or what, but it keeps you from selling an existing ship, because my worst fear would be selling something like this, and there's no warning to say, well, wait a minute, you got fitted slots, and you got cargo, don't sell the ship until you check out what you're selling. Because I would fat finger it, just sell the ship and lose a bunch of stuff. I think it would pay you for that, but at this point in the game, it doesn't pay you for that. And it doesn't let you do that. And that's a good thing, because, like I said, I'm kind of an idiot. So, and that cargo hold is getting full with all these junk parts and decent parts that we've picked up from just a little bit of space combat, a little bit of hitting treasure chests, and warp cells. They really become far less of a problem. Batteries really become far less of a problem when you are out actively converting ships. You're going to find a lot of those out there, and it's not going to be every ship, it's not going to be all the time, but you're going to find a lot of those out there. You're going to build up a surplus of those really quickly. I haven't made batteries. There was a certain point in the game where batteries were incredibly hard to come by, and I was looking up tutorials on how to make the batteries, where to get the batteries, where to buy them easily. Hey, ships, convert ships, capture ships, make the batteries. Don't make the batteries, rather capture ships. They got the batteries you need. They've got the batteries you want. So that red interceptor, I don't really need to keep all of these Artemai and everything else, but I'm gonna hoard these ships. Tell you what. I just am. But I don't see myself using a second red interceptor at any point soon. So we're gonna sell. Sell. Red interceptor. And we're gonna take those off because something I'm doing, again, not a pro cubic Odyssey player or anything, but something I've been doing is, if I can't find a good sell space to easily sell, remember to repair, always do the cash pay repair option. Do not use materials unless you're really in a bind. What I've been doing when I can't find an easy way to sell those parts, hold on to them for a bit first. But if I can't find just an easy darn way to get rid of them, and I'm filling up on stuff that I really don't need, I'm going to throw them right in this recycler right here. And they're not going to... First of all, let's make sure I keep a copy of those, because we're going to want to have one for each interceptor. I believe I have multiples of these. That's why I'm really not stressing tossing these into a recycler. But things like that. That'll sell for $1,000, $1,500, somewhere around there. Things like this, you know, these don't sell for much. These are easy to come by. I wish the melee weapons were a little bit better in this game, frankly, but it is what it be, and it be what it do, and it do what it is. I'm actually going to jump on and make sure. One of the things that really does suck about overflow, you're not going to know what you have. You have to actually physically look at the chests, check what you have. You have overflow you can dump in there, so it's not going to count towards your total cargo space, but there's a lot of cargo management, inventory management stuff that this game desperately needs that could be a part of it that's just not at the current time, which is fine, but it would be really nice to see that in future updates. Really nice. I got a little hoard-y. I noticed there are other players that are playing and that are just kind of hoarding a bunch of these parts and neat stuff. You know, maybe I'll save some of the stuff that I've used, but as far as I understand, there's really no there's no shared chest. There's no starting a new player and having a shared chest. So you're not going to be passing these back to any other alternate tunes that you create. There's really no reason to keep those parts that you're not going to be using when you've already got superior ones. But it could be. Don't know yet. Could be. Notice that is a little fiddly to get down these stairs. It's a cool design. It's such a neat palace of a ship, but man, I really hate to nitpick realism in a voxel Minecraft in space game, but man, this should have more of a fitting capacity and a bigger cargo capacity than Planet Bane, because that's a significantly larger ship. It looks like a palace. It's not a U shape, so it's not a double palace maybe. It looks pretty darn large. Now fighter is one of the class things, might be why they don't really want to give you the significant capacity of the Titan, but it's just a little silly. It's a little silly. For the time being. So this is one of, I don't know if this is good. I don't want to offer this as advice of what to do with old parts, but it's certainly a way to get rid of some old parts. It gives you a decent amount of energy capsules on doing it. I would always keep newer, at least one set. Your mileage may vary, maybe keep 2 sets, but the newer of each type, so the Interceptor, Fighter, Titan. And I don't know if this is something that will come to the game or if it's just not going to be, but one day, boy, it would be nice to socket a Interceptor class shield on a fighter, or a fighter class gun on an Interceptor, just to have some more range with cool stuff. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Probably never gonna happen. I don't know. Can't believe I went through all my missiles there. All my doggone missiles. One thing I do not like that this game does, you can have a jetpack here. I know that I, for a fact, have another jetpack here. If I don't know for a fact that I have another jetpack, don't sell this jetpack, because it will sell right out your inventory. There is no lock function. So far, it doesn't warn you. You can sell what you're using, don't sell what you're using. I've seen other players actually take it out for their cargo holds. I wouldn't go that far because it's just, who has time for that? But be really careful when you go to sell weapons. There is no way to buy them back. There's no way to buy certain gear back yet. That's another thing that could definitely be served to be added later in the game. So I will say another thing to look out for are the chests. There are higher level chests I've seen. The refinery Hey, Varium Refinery. I've seen much later level stuff sold for pocket change over here. Upgrading a refinery all the way is going to be a significant expense. So like the level that mine's at over here, the dyad, significant expense to upgrade that. To upgrade it anymore, now we're into some real, actually not as terrible as I thought, but that X matter sells a lot. Polonium, this is another thing I just mined my teeth off to get because I knew I'd use it quite a bit. And you will see that you're going to have quite a bit more. And now that I've said this is a really expensive upgrade, I'm going to do the quantum upgrade because speed plus half, that's worth it to me at this point in the game. I keep saying this point in the game, like I've gotten so darn far, but this is about 300 hours in. Let me double check that because it sounds like a lot of hours when I say it that way, but it's relatively early into the game. And I mean, I probably shouldn't admit this in any kind of forum, but you're talking to somebody who played a lot of Destiny and put a lot of hours into games like that. I like grinding games. I like going through and progressing. Nice and easy, but this game you actually get real far, real fast. I've had this fighter, Leviathan, for a while now. I've really enjoyed flying around on it. I was shocked just how quick and easy it was to get. I would definitely recommend grabbing one of these earlier in the game. No question. Because if you're willing to risk it and go to a sector where you might be a little above your level and you're willing to blow up ship a few times, the only thing you're going to lose is credits and durability. And you're going to be able to repair that durability and keep going. So you could have a mid to late game ship early on if you're willing to just go out there and search, hit the Q button, die a few times, come back and look for it again. No question. I would do it again in a heartbeat if I were starting a new character over. And I this can actually sell that for cash, but let's go to the recycling. The higher level hand equipment like that, I get decent amounts of energy capsules out of the recycling. So that's why I have no problem chunking them in there. The ship fuel cells, to a lesser extent, single hand weapons, especially lower level stuff, you're really not going to get a very good return. Sometimes you'll run across a refinery in like a pirate town or a city, throw a couple hand weapons in there and it gives you nothing. So you just have thrown them into the pit and you don't want to wait around and do other stuff to get your energy capsules out of it. Same thing as destroying them right in your inventory. Just things to be aware of. Things to make you a better player and get you further to where you want to be when you want to be it, which is probably early on, like a lot of us, because it's heckin' fun. It's heckin' good, clean fun. And if you can get a decent amount of progression, like I was able to, pretty darn early game, you can have a lot of power fantasy fun. You can just be flying through the galaxy, blasting stuff. There are still so many star systems to explore, so many things to go visit, so many planets to clear the corruption on, and a lot of people said that gets very repetitive and very routine and very grindy. That's not a bad thing if you like grindy sort of games and you just kind of enjoy spending time in universe. That can be a definite plus. See all those just clearing stuff that we didn't pay anything for. And really that's going to be our primary goal. We go out and we're hunting ships. We want to collect a lot of stuff that we're not going to pay anything or little for. Now, so some of the stuff that I'm keeping here, I'm actually keeping a giant paint gun, super paint gun, Those guys don't actually need to be in the carnival. It's silly. Giant paint gun and the super paint gun. My weapons, extractors, machine guns. I'm keeping all these. Because paint guns are actually different sizes of areas painted. The base paint gun, which I believe is lower than purple, I'm not sure. It paints 1 cube. There's one that paints a in-game meter, an area, and then the giant is going to paint much larger areas of the ship. I haven't really messed around with this a lot, but because I saw that in another VOD, I would for sure keep multiples of that, keep different ones, because you don't know what you're going to want to paint. And if we're going to go into, decorating our ships, making them enjoyable havens away from base or what have you. Oh, that's so cute! I didn't even notice the thing. Oh my god, I'm gonna show family over here. It's so freaking cute. It's an actual she ghosty. I love that ghost. That's a good ghost. Lux, let's get obsessive. Alright, 3 in. Yeah, I didn't know that was a she ghost. That's so darn cute. There's so many full of heart things in this game, just making a joy to play. And it's got that same aesthetic, of course, that Minecraft has, but it has the things that I enjoyed about Minecraft. That simple, friendly universe with a lot of danger and a lot of exploration to do, but simple, friendly universe with interesting stuff in it. And I love that side of things. So, as far as the workbench, I have not actually come up with a way to upgrade this or seen the way to upgrade that. I'm sure it's there. I'm probably just missing it. I don't know if you can build it in the workbench, but I've also seen those on sale at a vendor. I don't think this vendor, but we're here. Why not? If you see appliances like that, basic refinery, anything like that, these again are going to be dirt cheap. Grab them when you see them. Put them in. Start upgrading them. You may be able to upgrade them or get them and upgrade them for far cheaper than you would otherwise doing that. Anyway, I'm kind of out of steam. It's been a very long, enjoyable evening. I absolutely adore this game. I hope you do as well. I hope you're going to have just as much fun as I have sinking the hours that I've sunk into it. And I really do want to highlight, I could have spent a bunch of time, I did spend a bunch of time doing what I thought I had to progress, just gathering materials and crafting and doing all kinds of stuff. But if you really want to get quick progression, and if you want to get far in the game, get out there and start exploring the galaxy in fun ways, you really can't just start grabbing ships. And there's so much in this universe to explore. So get out there earlier, get out there faster. I would say, as a new player, don't even make a permanent base. Don't do it. Make a temporary base. Do some smelting, crafting. As soon as you can get on a space station, do a lot of your smelting and crafting on the space station. There's no point in this game to having a permanent base unless you want somewhere that you can warp through a planet portal to get to each one of the statues, which can clear the corruption on the planet, which you can definitely do, but that's what temples are for. They've already got a built-in one, so there's really no point. And all of that's on getting ships and building your mobile base to go. Definitely memorize the volume down combo. Definitely remember where that's going to be doing a lot of space battles, because again with the audio. But that's about it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Look at those delicious, delicious bats. This is something that I just find very enjoyable about this game. Almost as enjoyable as the mining. Mining is top tier. I'm probably going to do a video on the mining soon anyway, because like I said, there's a lot of ways that it just blows Minecraft out of the water. Just being able to scan through what I'm looking for alone, fantastic. Fantastic. Love it. This is also not to be expected. Not to run into a bunch of these pirates in every system. It's a little bit luck of the draw. It's a little bit higher soul system, higher danger system that I'm in right now. But by and large, you're not going to be harassed by pirates that often. Now, when you go up to ships, as you've seen, sometimes there are pirates. Sometimes there are pirates there, but you really don't have to deal with them as often as you expect. And I would love to see just a little bit more detail on how exactly far away things are. It is easy to lose your place if you're traveling to a point of interest, trying to get to something. It's really easy to lose your place in the middle of a space battle, and not even know if you've actually visited that gray square and turned it blue yet, or where it was. But it's kind of a manual search right now. But hopefully that gets a little better. Yeah, overall, very enjoyable game. I would get this game in a heartbeat. Watch as these pirates just make it look like a complete phony. Looks like there's going to be a pirate every single one of these. You just scan and jump through. This is really not the norm.